Welcome to Nerd Territory. My name is Shako and thank you for watching. Since you clicked on this video, you will be watching my reaction to Attack on Titan Season 3 review. And hopefully you will stick around for the upcoming episodes. Thank you in advance. Well, just 2 days ago I finished watching Season 3 plus the OVAs of Lost Girls, all the 3 episodes. So now I'm ready to review Season 3, which was a magnificent freaking season, and then move on and start watching Season 4, which I am very terrified to do. I feel like everybody has been commenting interesting stuff about Season 4, how that's where the true story starts apparently. So I guess all of these 3 seasons, all of the suffering we've been through during these 3 seasons was nothing. It was just a beginning, a prologue, as many people said it in the comments, and my friend told me the same thing, who watched the show and is a huge fan. But before we get to that, I just want to discuss everything in details about Season 3. I did not write down anything, but I've been thinking about Season 3 for 2 days now, so I'm just gonna basically discuss everything that comes in my mind while on the video. It's gonna be a little bit spontaneous. I'm gonna try to organize it a little bit more than I've done with other reviews, but yeah, mostly it will be just me rambling about whatever comes in mind. And yeah, hopefully you will stick around for the whole video. I don't know how long it will be, but yeah, let's get started. So what I want to say at the very first is that basically Season 3 is my favorite season so far. Season 3 has my favorite episode of Attack on Titan ever in all seasons so far. And yeah, it's just been a heavy season. Storyline from the start to the finish was amazing, and yeah, like 10 out of 10 to this season. Like, it's amazing, it's wonderful. We finally got to understand what the hell is truly going on. So I can see why people say this is prologue, because basically for 3 seasons author has been just building up the main story, I guess, as people call it, where it's like it starts in Season 4, and I understand why, because we were really truly in the dark of what the hell was truly going on until we reached that damn basement at the end of Season 3, and it's like we were these innocent, ignorant children, and now we just grew up and understood that the world is not the way we thought it was, and everything is just upside down from the first moment we started in Season 1. So yeah, I guess this is like a very powerful writing from the author side. We like I think that it was very tricky for author to write these first 3 seasons. I guess it's not seasons when you write manga, but yeah, for these chapters up until this point of end of the Season 3 in manga, because he had to be really careful what to share and what not to share with the audience, because the suspense need to be built. And then there was this ultimate reveal, and there was like a lot of hints, a lot of foreshadowing about what was truly going on and where the story was going. But when you're in a moment watching it, it just goes over your head. And even though I predicted that there might have been other settlements, because it was quite clear in the stories since Season 2, I would never think that it was like that there was a whole entire world out there hating us and thinking we are basically demons and don't deserve to live, and we are wrong, we are everything wrong with humanity or whatever, basically. So yeah, author had to be really restrained. He had to restrain himself, and with these restraints that he had to give himself to write this amazing story, he has done such a wonderful job. He has made me cry on multiple occasions, not multiple, almost every single episode. Since season 2, season 1 was not like I've cried there and here, but since season 2 I've cried so much, and season 3 was really where my waterworks came out. Like, I don't know, maybe I cried in every episode a little bit, or wanted to cry. And I can now only imagine what this monster, Isayama is his name, right? Isayama is gonna do now when he does not have to restrain himself anymore. He just now needs to write the rest of the story, and I'm really scared what he's gonna come up with. I'm sure he already had a plan while writing all of these seasons, all of this stuff up until season 3's end. So it's like how everything is gonna shake out. I'm sure there will be all-out war there, and yeah, I'm really scared for my favorite characters. At this point, I love them all. You know, our crew. I love Reiner, and yeah, it's like, it's really nerve-wracking, and I'm really anxious to get. I find myself trying to, postpone it a little bit, because first I'm afraid, but second I just feel this is now final season, so I have like 25 episodes in season 4 or something like that, and then there is 2 like movies, as I understand, and that's it. I'm done with this masterpiece. I don't wanna be done with this masterpiece. I want to keep watching it. So yeah, I've been procrastinating a little bit. But what to say, like, let's just start from the beginning now of season 3, and just I will try to methodically go through the whole season. So season 3 started with a very interesting premise. So far every season seemed like a different show. Every season has its own vibe, and this season had, when it started, very conspiratory, like very mysterious vibe. The sub arc, like a side arc, that government is corrupt, has always been there since the first episode of season 1. I've picked up on it, and I've been wondering when or if they would ever build on that story, and they did. It's just like the first 12 episodes of season 3 was about how government is corrupt, government conspiracy, and how we need to overthrow them if humanity is to survive, basically. And the main character for these first 12 episodes of season 3, arguably for me, not arguably, or is it arguable? Without an argument, basically, for me, is Historia, of course. She has been the character that's been present in the story since season 1. She had barely anything in season 1, but always she was shown to be a people pleaser, to be very nice towards everyone, always trying to help out people. And yeah, that was basically just the story for her in season 1. Then season 2 came, and she had a bigger role to play. We understood that there was more to this character. She was part of this special clan, or I don't know like how to say it, like this lord that this like noble family, basically, and she knew something that we did not. So the whole season it just danced around that, but mostly her relationship with Ymir was what was important in season 2, and then came season 3, and from the very beginning it became very apparent that the show was gonna focus heavily on Historia, and it did, and it gave her an amazing character conclusion, if you ask me, but not in a way where okay, she's done and dead and is not gonna be present in the story anymore, but in a way of her own inner self. She healed herself, I think, as much as it's possible for someone who's been traumatized like that since she was a very little young girl. And yeah, her arc was amazing, like her character development. Who would have thought, man? Who would have thought first time when she gave that bread to Sasha, she would become so important? And yeah, like it was just a wonderful wonderful experience to watch Historia grow and become a queen that she is right now, and her overcoming this need to people please because of how traumatized and neglected she was from both of her parents when she was a little kid, and then only person who truly showed any care for her was her half sister, what's her name, Frida, and she was deleting, like removing her memories. She only remembered once she touched Eren in that cave or whatever, and it just was like that, this culmination of the moment where she is heavily considering getting this syringe for her father. She does not care, she doesn't want to get, she does not, she could care less, she could care the least basically if she becomes a Titan and saves humanity. And then she is asking all the right questions, but if that's the case and we had the power, our family had the power, why we did not do anything for these 100 years? And then father gives her kind of an argument why, and then she remembers Ymir asking her to live a life she's proud of and to live life for herself, and she ultimately decides to screw it and like attacks her father and ultimately saves Eren, which she always wanted. Eren at that point is much more important of a person for her than her father. Eren being a consistent friend for her. Also, she has other friends who are connected to Eren, so that's her family now, not her father that only decided to seek out her when he needed her blood, basically. So yes, Historia's character has been amazing. This whole government is corrupt arc was so intriguing and amazing for me. How we got rid of them, Erwin being the genius that he is, that came up with this plan to get rid of the government that worked flawlessly and perfectly. And yeah, basically from that point forward, Erwin says it when we get rid of government, and Niall, I believe it is his childhood friend, asks Erwin, why are not you happier? Like it does not seem like you just overthrew, you just did what you wanted to do, overthrew the government, and you don't seem happy at all. And then Erwin said, which was an amazing foreshadowing, this is just the beginning, we are now going down to the path that is more dangerous than ever for humanity. And yeah, that I guess sums up the first half of season 3, which is first 12 episodes. During this season we get to know a little bit more about Keith, Bystander, which is my favorite episode so far in the entire show. Is such an amazing, masterfully, like, it's these kind of episodes, yeah, of course all of the kind of, but these kind of episodes that no action happens whatsoever, just dialogue and how story is presented and what characters think and feel and how they look at life. These kind of episodes is where you can truly understand the ability of the author to just explore the characters to the deepest levels, which is so important for a good story. Yes, Attack on Titan has so many other rich elements to it, the story itself, the plot twists, the turns, the stuff, like everything, but how he presents the characters and all of these character moments, and it's just a Bystander is just a peak of it, and it's about the character that you don't expect to come back, or you even I forgot about Keith at that point. I never paid. And it's funny because if you've been watching my reactions since the beginning, and remember, I've been saying that Keith seems important for the story for some reason, like just because how connected he is to Grisha, in a sense that he mentions Grisha. He's the one who gives us Grisha's name. We do not know Eren's dead. I was calling him Eren's dead up until that episode when he's basically in his inner thoughts mentions Grisha. and I was like, okay, there's some kind of a connection there, and story set it up in a way. And Kiss is also the first character we see from the Scouts that is just beat down and suffering and screaming at this woman who just lost her son, and it's just and then I was like, okay, there is some kind of importance, this character is set up for something. And then story just went on, and we never saw Kiss anymore. And I was for some time I was wondering, is he gonna come back, when he's gonna come back, and then I just forgot about him. And then suddenly episode 11, I believe it was, he comes back, and we see his entire life story, and we see that he was the one who brought Grisha in. From where, why, we don't know at that point. And it was such an amazing episode. So the first half of the season 3, amazing, 10 out of 10. Everything is set up to move now to the next part, which is gonna be war in Shiganshina, basically, or all out battle. And this is a battle to get back Wall Maria and to get to the basement finally. And that's where all shit happens, basically, like shit, like it gets wild, basically, in the second part. And yeah, I would like, even though it's like 2 parts, I believe season 3, like when it came out, it was like 2 parts. First 12 episodes, and then the 10 episodes, or however, I think it was 22 episodes in total. So yeah, so 10 episodes was the second part, right? But for me, story-wise, I would actually divide it into 3 parts. So the first part I would call this government conspiracy part, where Historia rises and becomes the queen that she was always supposed to be. Second part is battle at Shiganshina, and ultimately Erwin's end point as a character. And the third part I would say is those 4 or 3 episodes about basement and what the hell is truly going on. And the second part, the battle, it's just so beautifully set up. It's just everything. It was like the whole show was building up to this moment. Erwin's character was building up to this moment, and Erwin is the main character for the second part, for me, for the second part of the story, which is Battle of Shiganshina. And Erwin has been quite a prominent character, but season 3 is really where we understood all of his motives, where he is coming from, like character from bottom to the top, basically we understood. And yeah, the ultimate question is Erwin selfish enough to sacrifice the objective humanity needs for his own dream, which is to get to the truth? Or was Erwin just too harsh on himself all this time, blaming himself, having this survival guilt, having this imposter syndrome that he has manipulated people to die for his cause, even though that's objectively not true? And obviously we see Erwin make a right decision and sacrifice himself just so close. He says himself, I am so close, I can just get this and there and grab it and understand what the fuck is really going on, why my father had to fucking die, and he ultimately decides not to, with help from Levi. And it's just such an amazing conclusion for this amazing, masterfully written, just wild character. I mean, I will get through this. I will get to Erwin and all the characters. I will go through all the characters in season 3 one by one. So I will get to this. I'm just generally now discussing it. But yeah, second part, Erwin is definitely the main character for the second part. And the third part is for me when we get this reveal and everything, and obviously it's Grisha. Grisha is the main character for the third part. That's when my mind just got blown. We learn the whole truth, basically. We learn that our race has been quite insufferable in the past, in the history. We have caused a lot of people a lot of damage and a lot of suffering, and then it just kind of turned around on us, and then our king at the time decided that he did not want to shed any blood under Eldia, right, Eldia's name, and just retreated to this island and built this wall and made everybody forget what the hell was truly going on. And it was just mind-blowing. And then Grisha's whole story was such a treat. This character has barely been in the show, but his presence was felt throughout the whole story, and it only made sense that at some point that presence needed to be proved. Why his presence was so strong needed to be proved by the story with facts, and we got his story. Basically, we got Grisha's story, which is absolutely heartbreaking, and he made so many mistakes along the way, but you understand why and how it all happened, and it's just, I don't know, it's tragic. And then that line will never, like that scene, watching that scene, I rewatched that scene so many freaking times. I mean the scene where Eren, but not our Eren, Cougar is telling him to stand up and keep moving forward, and have you got no balls at all? You cannot stand up, you cannot move forward, you cannot look at this picture of your family that you destroyed by your own actions. This is your mission, whether you like it or not, this is what you need to do. And then he says, when Grisha finally looks at the picture of himself, Dinah and Zeke, and then it's like he gets very emotional, like the music hits in, and then Kruger is like, this is a story, or something like, this is a story that you started, or something, tells this basically, is not this a story that you, something like that. Oh my god, it gave me so many freaking goosebumps. It was just amazing. And then the next episode, when he mentions Mikasa and Armin, and I have my theories about that, which we will get to. It's just, yeah, it was like a wonderful culmination of season 3, and then we get to the ocean finally, and it's bittersweet, especially for Eren. Eren has already seen it in his father's memories, and maybe he was hoping that it was not gonna be as it was, he saw it in Grisha's memories, but everything was exactly the same, which gave basically Eren the final, like maybe he was trying not to believe it, because if it's true what he was seeing as his father's memories, then they are fucking doomed. Like, they are doomed. A lot of people are dying, even if they find any kind of a solution out of this. A lot of people still are gonna die to reach that solution. So it's like, for Eren is such, I mean, I will get to Eren. I mean, I just want to finalize this generalization of season 3. I mean, Eren is just such a passionate person. If he loves you, he fucking loves you, and if he hates you, he fucking hates you. And if he loves you, he will do literally anything to make sure you are not gonna die, and nothing bad is gonna happen. Like, he won't let anybody to even be rude towards you. Not dying, like dying is even out of control, to even be rude towards you. And he understands, and I did not like how the show ended, like how the season 3 ended. It was like Eren almost dead, like almost emotionless, like eyes almost shut down, and he's like, if we kill, and he's looking at Armin, and he's like, if we kill, oh no, sorry, if there was lagging or something in the video for a little while, it's because battery was shutting down, so hopefully the video is not gonna be very ruined. But yeah, so it's just devastating for him to understand that now there are so many people that want them dead, and the only way for in his mind is to just kill everybody on the other side of the ocean, which is horrible. And because there are a lot of people on the other side that are as ignorant as they were when they first got attacked, and as Carla was dying, like having no idea why she was dying. And now we have a understanding why Carla was dying was not because of the Titans, really. It was because of all of this history and Marley, and that they sent these little kids, basically 11, 12-year-old kids, to destroy walls and get the founding Titan. And of course Carla or Eren or Mika or anybody at the time that died had zero freaking idea about it. They were just thinking that Titans, we're eating them just because that's Titans, they eat you. So of course I'm never gonna agree with killing everybody over on the other side of the ocean. I think Eren will come to his senses and will understand that it's only important to destroy them militarily that can do that to you, and especially Marley. But innocent people does not need to die, and Eren has always been very just. The sense of justice that he has as a character up until this point, I think that will eventually override the shock that he has from the outside world. And especially imagine he saw all of this hatred that people showed towards Eldians, towards his dad when his dad was younger, in those memories. And it's heartbreaking and devastating. I guess that's just all. That just summarizes the season 3 of what was happening. Amazing things happened. And now I just want to first of all go through some of my theories that I have. So first theory that I have is I caught some of the characters, especially Eren. I think Mikasa said it as well. I feel like maybe Grisha said it as well at some point, or maybe just Mikasa and Eren. But I was pretty sure, like when Eren woke up screaming from seeing the memories of the Titan actually being Dinah or Dina. I think it's Dinah or Dina. I don't know. Eating his mom, which is ex-wife of his own dad. And he woke up and he started screaming, and then Armin was like, what happened there? I don't know, something like, and he was like, I feel like I've just woke up from a long dream or something like that. And I was pretty sure, and I cheated a little bit. I went back and watched that intro of season 1 when Eren wakes up crying and he sees all of these scenes, and I caught some things. So he dreamt, and so when my main point is when he wakes up, he says, I feel something like, I feel like same sentence basically. I cannot quote the exact sentence. It's something like, I feel like I've had a very long dream, or I've had a very long drink, or something like that. The same sentence. And that dream sequence, I went through it part by part. Like I did not understand some of it, but I caught it the first time I watched it, the very first episode. I caught it there that he saw in the dream exactly scene of Carla getting picked up by Dinah's Titan, and then eaten, of course, but the scene was just Carla getting picked up. Another scene was flowers getting blood on them, and this is when Hannes dies. So he saw in that dream, because I don't believe it's a dream anymore, he saw in that dream of Carla dying and Hannes dying. And at that time he does not have a Titan power at all whatsoever, right? So, and where my point is, why I'm mentioning this is because fast forward we see Cougar basically take a peek into the future. Memories, I guess you can call, but it's not really memories because it did not happen yet chronologically, right? But I can see where our author is going. I'm heavily into spirituality, and one of the main, like a lot of spiritual teachings tell you that time is an illusion. It does not really exist, that everything that ever happened or will happen is actually happening right next to each other simultaneously, basically. If that's what author is going with, if author believes this stuff and wanted to put that in the story, then it makes sense that Eren was always gonna be this attack titan, and it makes sense why Eren already without having any ability. And because now from Cougar seeing Mikasa Armin in the future, we've seen through Eren's eyes, I guess, and through Eren's memories, we know that past memories definitely like we saw also Armin when he was waking up was having a little bit of Bert's memories there. I guess Bert was hurting, so maybe Bert's memories or what he was thinking as he was trying to kill them or something like that. And so we understand that the memories can be accessed, but the past how to say it, past Titan shifters, past people who held Titan power in the past. But now the concept is thrown there that they can actually see the future holders' memories as well. Their memories basically. That implies for me that everything is happening simultaneously. Everything. And if everything is happening simultaneously, then at any point, even when Eren does not have the Titan powers, in a way he already has. So in that dream he accidentally accesses, in my mind, the memories of his own memories, basically, of Carla dying and Hannes dying, but the memories are from the future. I feel like I have this down. I feel like this is what is really going on. And if that's the case, and then we also learn that everything is connected, like all the Eldians are connected through this, like we saw these lines that Ymir was looking up when Ymir turned back into the Titan. She was looking at this thing, that these lines that eventually it goes and becomes one thing, and that's a coordinate. So everything is connected through and towards a coordinate, right, which is a founding Titan. And if that's the case, then we might be able, not just Titan shifters, but we might be able. So I have my theory here. Basically, my theory is incoming. If it's utterly ridiculous, do not make fun of me. But my theory is that if all of us are connected, maybe we are able to even pass the memories to each other, pass our thoughts to each other. So maybe if we can access all of the Eldians who will be fighting in the upcoming war against Marley, maybe we can access this ability for everybody, not just Titan shifters. And maybe we can, do something strategically. I'm sure if Armin knows this is possible, I'm sure him and Hanji will be able to come up with amazing strategies. Maybe this can be used. I mean, is it too far-fetched? I don't know. Like, maybe we are just able to telepathically communicate with each other. Maybe someone is fighting here and someone is waiting, and the one who is fighting just shows everybody else what they will be up against. Like scouting, maybe one person goes to scouting just to assess the situation of what enemy is doing, and then just telepathically, like, it can be used so many ways. I'm sure they will come up with this, but I feel like this could be done. And about the accessing, I don't have a single doubt that Eren was basically accessing his future memories there. That's how he saw in the dream state of Carla dying and Hannes dying, basically. And yeah, it's so wonderful. It's been set. It's not something author came up along the fucking way. It's been set up since the very first freaking episode. And this line, man, I feel like I've woke up from a very long dream. It's been repeated. So it's not really a dream. It's a hint that these are the memories, because now Eren says it from waking up. Or from Grisha's memories, looking at Grisha's memories, basically. So it's like that same thing can be applied there when the show starts and Eren sees, and that explains where back then I thought that maybe Eren had this gifts to predict future or something like this, and that could be used, but now it makes more sense how it's set up, and I'm definitely seeing author being maybe influenced by some of the spiritual teachings, which is basically time is happening simultaneously, nothing is past or future, basically. It's just our consciousness that binds it down to this current time frame or whatever you want to call it. And they also say this goes even a little bit deeper. They say that only present exists, which is kind of true with this theory as well. But yeah, I'm just going I'm just going to spiritual stuff now, which is not needed for Attack on Titan for now. But yeah, I can see author doing this, and I can see this ability of all of us being so connected to each other being used in a way where we will actually use it in a battle, in a strategy against Marley somehow, and that would be so cool. Like, imagine Hanji and Armin coming up with an amazing fucking ideas how to use this ability of them, all of the Eldians being connected to each other. Yeah, so this is my theory. Now, this is my theory that I've been thinking a lot. I've thought to share whether to share it or not, because it kind of seems ridiculous, but like how wonderful it would be if this will come true. Now that I've mentioned about my theory, I want to go to the characters during season 3 and just discuss each of their journey so far and where they are at heading into this season 4, which is the final season. So I will start with Eren. Obviously, Eren has slowly become one of my favorite characters. I've had my quarrels with Eren. Eren's character is not my type of a character at all. He's very loud, very aggressive, and very dependent on how he feels. Like, he never thinks it through, and I'm totally different. I'm always trying to, not be emotional, always make rational decisions and just not have outbursts when I want to have it, basically. And Eren is totally opposite. So I was not very vibing with Eren. I felt sorry for him, and I loved him as a character, but I did not like him as a character, and I'm now loving him as a character, and I'm liking him as a character already. Like, he grew on me a lot. And Eren's journey in season 3 was gross, basically. He realized the hypocritical nature of himself, which all of the humans are hypocrites, all of us are hypocrites, but it takes an incredible self-awareness and healed ego to recognize that, if you ask me. And he finally, that scene when he looks at Historia and Erwin talking to each other, and Historia trying to convince Erwin to let her fight against his giant father, and he's like, I always thought, look at Historia, I always thought she was the weak one. How wrong I was. I was the weak one from the very beginning. And then he says, somewhere along the line, I believed myself to be special, and all the people who died for me, in all of these missions, trying to get me back, I believed subconsciously, deep down, that it was justified, them dying for me, because I thought to be this hope, one and only hope for humanity. And what the hell, like, I was the one hating Titans, and then I never thought anything of it when I myself turned out to have the Titan powers as well. So he showed such an incredible self-reflection and self-awareness and growth there, and it's even apparent when Historia asks, now that we know about Reiner and Bert, like, and for sure we are gonna meet them again to fight with them, what are you gonna do? He's not hateful anymore. He's not answering with hate and, oh, I will destroy them, I will kill them, I will make sure they suffer. No, he says, I guess I would just not have any other choice but to kill them, which is true, but he does not say it in a hateful way. He says it factually. That's truth, which surprised me so much. Like, Eren's character has had such strong growth during this season, and yeah, I felt so proud in that moment when he was having this inner monologue, and he felt healed a little bit, not fully, of course. There is still a lot to deal with there for him to fully heal himself, and unfortunately Attack on Titan world does not have therapists, and these children are all traumatized, psychologically damaged people, and it deals a lot, like almost nobody, I don't know, like, is there anybody who has ever dealt with their childhood trauma without a help of psychologist or psychiatrist? I don't know, I don't think so. And yeah, it's never gonna be possible for any of these characters to fully heal themselves, but Eren started on that journey by realizing so many things about himself, his own flaws, and it just killed me, man. It just killed something in me a little bit. This is our guy, this is our baby Eren, we saw him since he was like this tall, like 9 or whatever years old he was when the show first started, and we saw him develop and grow into a young teenage boy who has an incredible ability now to be so self-aware of himself and what he's like and what are his shortcomings in his character. Basically, it was such a great journey to watch his character grow even more, and this whole season was just Eren kinda reminiscing and realizing so many flaws about himself. And then that scene when they are going back to Shiganshina and he starts shaking, and of course his male ego does not like it very much, and when Armin asks, are you afraid, and he's like, no, what do you mean, and then Armin is like, Armin is so wonderful, we will get to Armin, and he's like, and Armin has zero ego. Like, of course everybody has ego, but Armin has such a healed ego that it's okay. Like, he's not gonna be the person who is like, oh, I am the most courageous person ever. Like, he's like, it's okay, I'm having the same thing, which lures, and he knows Eren at this point so well, like, and Eren knows him so well as well. He lures Eren into opening up, and Eren opens up, and then Armin just mentions something I don't remember exactly, which reminds Eren of freedom and outside world, and he thanks Armin for waking him up, basically, from just a pointless life he was living as a little kid. In his mind, of course, like, he's a little kid, he was not living a pointless mind, but he thinks he was, until Armin told him about the outside world. And he's like, for some reason, when I just think about taking back our freedom, courage starts to move within my body, or something like that, which is so wonderful, such a wonderful sentiment. And they just comfort each other there, and Mikasa is right, they are not saying anything but listening very carefully, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And then he sees all of these things, he realizes the whole truth and what the hell was actually going on. And season 1 Eren would be absolutely out of his mind to see out of context the Eren that when in the final episode when they go out to reach the ocean and they see this crawling titan, which in my mind is like 99% a little baby transformed. Fucking Mar, like I hate them. No, I don't want to say I hate them because it goes against everything I am preaching when watching this show. It's very hard. It just goes to show how hard it's gonna be for the characters and for the story to end this in a positive way and to end the hatred as a cycle of hate and cycle of violence, because even I am having these negative emotions towards Marley right now. Like, this is a baby crawling baby titan in my mind, because why else it's only crawling? Why can't it walk? And Eren touches it and it's like, this is a fellow patriot and let's just leave him here, don't kill it, you know. And if little Eren just saw this out of context, this like if we can access our future memories, he would be out of his mind. He would be like, what the fuck are you doing, man, kill it, you know. And yeah, like the character development, and then he gets to the ocean, and this has been his fucking dream for so long now, and it's just so bittersweet. I think if even for him it's not even bittersweet, it's just bitter, and it's just devastating for him. For others who has not experienced seeing the memories of Grisha the way he did, it's still, for others it's still a story that he tells. Of course they believe, but it's still not, until you see it, you cannot 100% unless you are not a very empathetic person, and even then you cannot 100% understand the hate that the Eldians that got left behind when the king and all of the others retreated to this island that we are on right now, that the hate that they have to face every day back in Marley, the remaining Eldians. He understands this, and he understands that now they are in the same ship as them. The Marley is coming at some point, and they have much bigger technology, much more developed technology, much more people, I'm assuming, because they are the entire Us Nation, and we are just, you know, people stranded on the island within 2 or 3 walls now. I guess now we have 3 walls, so again. And yeah, it's so bittersweet for him, and it once again pushes Eren into just going on this attack mode. You know, it's so in theme that his Titan is also called Attack Titan, and I wanna get into this Titan, and I want to get into something that my Patreon wrote when he watched the final episode, I guess, of season 3 on Patreon. David, it was, I believe, or this was maybe from YouTube or from, I don't know, like either it was from you guys, you will know whoever wrote it. Maybe it's you, David, or maybe it was someone else. Whoever wrote it, you will know what I mean when I will discuss it. But yeah, this Attack Titan is such on theme with Eren's personality, as Kruger describes it. This Titan has always fought for freedom, it has always advanced, moved forward, you know, to set humanity free or something like that. And yeah, this moving forward part, I caught it myself as well, but then the comment that one of you guys wrote also made it very much like full picture. It brought the full picture for me, and I want to discuss it. So this Titan it always keeps moving forward. Kruger says to Grisha to move forward. I'm sure there were some other characters who mentioned moving forward. So this seems and feels like a theme moving forward in season 4, to just always move forward no matter what, basically. And that's Eren. Like, Eren will never stop fighting and will never stop, you know, fighting, not just fighting for the sake of fighting, but to fight for what he believes to be truth, to fight for his freedom, and to fight for the sake of his friends, people that he loves dearly. So yeah, that's been Eren's journey so far up until season 3. He's not in a very good place right now. yeah, he's considering, I guess, as he said out loud, to kill everybody on the other side of the ocean, which I don't know how is that even possible, but even if that's possible, somehow, of course, it's wrong, but I'm sure he will come to his senses. He was just incredibly imagine just having this dream, and for them it was like ocean, and then on the other side of the ocean there is freedom, there is a vast land that needs to be explored with no one in it. And it turns out that there is an ocean, but on the other side of the ocean there is no vast land, there is people, and people are as horrible as they've been, most of the people they met within the walls on the other side as well. So it's like the childhood dream just crushed, the dream that him and Armin shared just crushed, you know. So I understand his emotions, his feelings, but yeah, he will come to his senses, and then we will just have to figure out what to do about this huge problem that is Marley, and maybe possibly the other countries as well in the world. I'm sure there are other countries, right? Marley cannot be the only country, since we just have the whole world out there, right? So that's it about Eren. Now I have to go to Armin. Oh my god, I feel like this is gonna go for a long fucking time. Let me see. Okay, it's on 50 minutes only already. I've rambled for 50 minutes already. Okay, before I go to Armin, I will just pause this and I will just continue from there. I will then just edit the videos together, but yeah, I just feel like I need to smoke a little bit, clear my mind, and then come back. So yeah, I will be back to talk about Armin and then other characters. Okay, I'm back, and now I'm gonna discuss Armin's character during season 3. Well, first 12 episodes, Armin did not really have much, if you ask me. His character picked up from the second part of the season 3, and it was during this battle. I mean, everybody who has been watching my reaction knows that Armin is my favorite character of the show so far. I have very warm feelings towards Armin. He is a character I relate a lot to, and yeah, I feel like he's just an amazingly written character, amazing person, and it's just a testament how good, I just want to one more time say how good show writes its characters, how author writes its characters, and Armin is just a testament of that. Armin is this boy who has been insecure about himself and his strengths basically since the beginning of the show, and he found strengths in himself to overcome this a little bit, but still these insecurities come up when he's under pressure and he needs just a little time to overcome it, and then he comes up with amazing solutions always. And yeah, like the episode where he was sent off, basically his sent off episode, which resulted in him then coming back, of course, thankfully, was called Hero. And really, for me, Armin is one of the heroes of the story. Like, his morals is there, he's empathetic to a point where he can understand other people, even people who are not on their side. I mean, he has this whole struggle to kill people in the first part of the season when they go against the government, but they know that it's the only choice they have if they are to reach this goal and actually make things good for humanity, but he still struggles with it, and he has his first kill for Jean. So Jean is not dead, he kills someone, he feels horrible about it, of course, and then Levi gives him the best pep talk anybody can give. Like, if you tell Armin, no, you did a good thing, he's not gonna believe it, because he's very analytical and very critical thinker, but because Levi says, who knows, if what you did was right, but see, the result is Jean is still with us, which makes it easier for Armin, you know, to be like, okay, you know, well, I need to just move forward, I had to do it. And Armin will struggle with it, but he will always do what needs to be done. That's why I respect him so much, and I love him so much. He's like a bravest character for me in the show. The bravery is not, you know, being blindly courageous and not giving shit about your life. Bravery, the whole definition of bravery, at least for me, and you can disagree, of course, is when you are scared like scared like shit, you know, like you are so scared, so afraid to do something, and you still do it, you still push yourself and do it. That's the true definition of bravery. And that whole moment, that was a build up to for Armin's character as well, in a way of him sacrificing himself to beat Berthold, and him being selfless. And then the whole flashback, I don't lose, when he tells a little Eren, but I don't lose because I don't run. That's such a powerful sentiment. Yes, I might not have physical capabilities to defend myself that way, but at least I face my fears, I face these bullies, and I don't fucking run, you know. That's the true definition of bravery for me, and how selflessly he sacrifices himself to get the others just a little chance of fighting back, and him saying, Eren will get to see the ocean for me. Like, it was just an amazing season for him. I love him dearly. I don't think he can do anything that upsets me or makes me to turn my back around against him or something like that. I just love this character. All of the seasons he's had amazing. He has been a prominent character in all of the seasons, just like Eren has. And I don't look at this show as Eren being the only protagonist. I look as Armin being a protagonist of the show as much as Eren is, to be honest. And I just love how different Armin and Eren are, and yet how they understand each other, how they have each other's back, how important they are for each other. It's just their brotherhood. They are like a family, and there is nothing they won't be willing to do for each other. Basically, it's just that powerful, that friendship, that understanding, respect, the love, it's all there. And this relationship they have with each other, it's just so amazing and perfect. And Armin itself is just, I don't have much to say about her, because I feel like I've said everything about Armin, and it's just not much has been added on that. Like, he just continues to be very consistent in his character arc, and now he has this colossal titan ability. And yeah, also this thing that like they're gonna die in 13 years, that's so fucking messed up. I'm hoping show will find a way to reverse that, but I will not put it past Attack on Titan to just kill them after 13 years and maybe show ends with them dying and or something like that. I would not put past this author to do this, and it just kills me. I'm like Mikasa, very worried and devastated and anxious and you know, like afraid that I'm gonna lose two people the most important for me, you know. And yeah, that brings us to Mikasa's character, man. I feel like her strongest season was season 1. Since then she just been there for me, and she gets moments very rarely where I am very emotionally connected to her, which kind of kills me, because Mikasa is such a badass character. She has been through so fucking much, and this OVA of Mikasa, just I related to it so much, man. Like the struggle, the suffering she inflicts upon herself because of this relationship she has developed with Eren, that she is smart enough, of course, to understand that Eren's death is not gonna be avoided at some point, and the death is not like when they are old or something. It's like she understands that the way Eren is, it's kinda easy to predict that he might not live until the old age, and this is Mikasa's biggest fear, this is Mikasa's biggest suffering, in realizing that no matter what the fuck she does, she might not be enough to avoid the death of Eren, you know? That OVA just killed me mentally, like, it was so fucking good. And I find myself craving for the character interactions between Mikasa and anybody else but Eren. You know, I find it so wholesome in those moments when she shows emotion and attachment and love for other characters, like when Jean is about to get shot in that first, when Armin saves him eventually, how she screams Jean and tries to rush in and save him. These kind of small moments, it just make me happy, because we get so little of Mikasa interacting with anybody else but Eren, and for Mikasa it being about anybody else but Eren. And I feel like that's her main character arc so far, that she needs to overcome. She needs to overcome this obsession and this toxic relationship basically that she has developed with Eren, and that's just been the theme so far. So I feel like I cannot add much on that, but it just killed me more so when Mikasa started screaming and crying when she saw Armin, and when she understood that Hanji was holding down her to a point where she could not free herself to do something to get that syringe to Armin. Like, that just killed me more so than Eren crying, like, because I expect it from Eren. I don't expect it from Mikasa. And when she screams, like that scream of pain and devastation that she lets out, and the cry for Armin, it just like, I'm tearing up now thinking about it. It just killed me. And these kind of moments we get so little for Mikasa, you know. Or when she that little moment when she suggests to knock Sasha out, you know, she knows Sasha so well, she knows Sasha is not gonna stop. Like, she clearly loves all of these guys. It's just she loves Eren so much more that the love for others just gets overshadowed completely by the story. And that's my main issue with Mikasa's character. I love her dearly, especially after seeing that OVA of her. It's just like it touched my heart so badly, because I related to it so much. That imagination she has, like, she even like made her mom sick in her own imagination to go and live next to Eren, you know. And then she was like, in her own imagination, I'm sorry to her mom, you know. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Her character is so crazy. I'm just hoping and waiting for her character to heal this part of herself, which is very attached to Eren. That's all I can say about Mikasa's character for now. The next character I want to discuss is Historia, and then it will be like Historia, Levi, and Erun, because for me, like, I feel like every season had its own main characters story-wise. Like, of course, Eren is always gonna be the main character, and he's gonna always be present in every season. But story-wise, like, I feel like season 1 was the story and the development of Mikasa, Eren, Armin, and Jean. Then season 2 was about Ymir, if you ask me, and then, like, to a most of the degree it was just about Ymir, to lesser degree Historia, Bert, and Reiner. And then season 3 I feel like was about Levi, Erwin, and Historia. I will get to why I think it was about them, but now I will discuss Historia's character. I guess I just discussed her character already, but I will add a little bit on it. I feel like Historia was one of the main ones this season. She reached her character arc. She finalized what I wish every character to be finalized, like Erwin finalized his arc in a way and then just died. In this way Historia still keeps living on and we still keep seeing her, which is amazing. But I feel like maybe story is not gonna use her character anymore that much because she kind of finished her development as a character. So yeah, his story is one of my faves. Like I can relate to her so much as well. Like I'm people pleaser by heart, and I'm always trying to understand that, and sometimes I can hold resentments towards people for my own actions. Like if you want to say no, say fucking no, and if you say yes to something, then do not feel resentful about it, you know what I mean? And yeah, people pleasing is one of the most toxic things ever. Like don't do it. If you can somehow manage not to do it, my suggestion to everyone who is watching, don't. Always people please, not people please, always, how to say that, always please yourself. Like always, you know, person please yourself or something like that, I don't know. Person please yourself. Yeah, it's always necessary to understand what you truly want and do that. And of course it should not be about hurting people or something. That's not what I mean. It's just, if for example if someone asks you something and you don't want to do it, just don't do it just because you are afraid that they will be upset. That's just such an egotistical way of looking at things. It's just you saying basically to yourself that you don't ever want anybody to be upset with yourself, and it's an incredibly toxic way of living. And Historia has been living that way, and finally it clicked for her and she realized, and that's why I feel like her character arc ended there. And yeah, she just is amazing. Then the things she did after that, realizing all of that, was amazing. Like she went against her father. She came up with this idea of her being the one who ended her father, so the community within these people within the wall would accept her as the true ruler of the world and of the wall. And she became the queen, and then she opened this orphanage and is helping children like herself who did not really have any parent support. And it's just amazing. Her character is amazing. I've discussed her character a little bit, so I'm not gonna discuss it very in details, but yeah, I love her character. I believe that she's one of the more developed and well written, well around character in the show, and she's such a badass. Like she's amazing. Then there comes Levi. Why I believe it was Levi's season as well is because from the start to the finish it was all about Levi. We got to know more about his upbringing in regards to Kenny, and we got to see his trauma, even like his abandonment issues. Even when he was living with his mom, I can imagine his mom, as much as I understood, was a prostitute. So I can imagine how damaging that would be for a child to experience living with a parent who is a prostitute and who needs to work this line of work. Then she died, and he got picked up when he was just a little boy. Got picked up by this psycho Kenny, and as Kenny said himself, when Levi asked, "Why did you leave me?" that's where abandonment issues come, because even if Kenny was the worst of the parent figure, he was still a parent figure, and then he just left Levi out of the blue without any explanation. Of course, this left a huge scar on him as well. You can understand, like, Levi barely shows any emotions, and you can understand why he's emotionally so unavailable and so kind of nonchalant. And he's still a kid. If you've been noticing, some of the things he says, it's just so childlike, but in the best way ever. It's just so childlike and honest, and just like how children are, they just will throw at you anything. Their honest opinions, whatever comes up on mind, they say. And Levi has these one-liners that is so funny. He does not say it to be funny. He says it because he really feels it, but it's so unintentionally funny. I love him dearly. Like, protect this man at all costs. But he's still like, you can still see this childish part of himself, this childish, traumatized, scarred part of himself, even now that when he's a grown man. And he is so nonchalant. He is not able to really express emotions much, and when he does, it means so much. for me, like for example when Historia punches him and he's like smiles and says, you know, thank you, you guys, it just murdered me. It was one of my favorite moments of Levi. Yeah, you just can feel it. And the whole season kind of centered around Levi and his decision that he made to resurrect Armin, and you can kind of understand his whole decision making process. And he got affected a lot by Kenny's final words that everybody is drunk on something to keep going, everybody is slave to something. And when he is going, when all the guys are already gone and that whole fighting is done, obviously for Levi, Erwin is what for Eren Armin is, basically. Like Levi, I think for Levi in his life, Erwin is the most important person. He loves Erwin dearly and respects him dearly, so for him to make that decision to not get him back was actually such a selfless, even though Flock in the end calls it selfish decision when he has this outburst during this ceremony and funeral of their fallen comrades. I feel like it was such a selfless decision because he made that decision not for him, because selfishly he would want to get Erwin back. He made that selflessly because he understood how much suffering Erwin was going through. When he finally, Erwin opened up a little bit and was like, Levi, do you see? Oh my god, that scene, man, that fucking scene, man. When Erwin tells Levi, but I'm so close, I can just feel me reaching and getting the truth. But Levi, do you see our fallen comrades looking at us, wanting to know what became of the hearts they gave? Like, I mean, who writes this shit? Like, perfect from the start to the finish. And you can see he understands it, how much Erwin has been suffering at that moment, and he makes that decision for him. That's why I feel like, and then the whole thing just goes back to Kenny saying that everybody had to be drunk on something to go on and be slave of something, and then he remembers Armin talking to Eren when he was overhearing this, was listening to this conversation Armin, Mikasa and Eren had, where Armin stood up and fans again started cheering Eren up by mentioning the outside world and ocean and, you know, sandy snow, like snow is or whatever they say. Like, I cannot repeat it, but that always makes me tear up when they mention it, because it holds so much meaning for them. And he was listening in then, and he was also remembering Erwin saying that that's his dream, to understand what the truth is finally, and he's contemplating and he's still going, and he's like, all of them like just drunk on something, you know. He understood what Kenny meant finally. And he ultimately, when Erwin kind of on a reflex, I'm sure Erwin did not do it because he did not want to be resurrected, he was out of it already, it just was a reflex. He was remembering his the main moment from his childhood that got his dad killed, which was this question he eventually asked of, how do we know that there are not more humans outside of our walls, which then led to his father explaining privately, and then him Erwin going and telling his friends, which, you know, then led to his father's demise. And then you can just see Levi contemplating what to do, and he realized that it would be incredibly unfair to bring Erwin back, and this after Erwin finally acknowledged his flaws and finally was like, I'm fucking done, and I'm gonna, you know, do this one last mission then and leave it up to you guys. And then the thank you, when Levi says, I'm gonna do it, and you do you and sacrifice yourself and these other recruits. And then he remembers just this tired, suffered eyes looking at him and saying thank you to Levi, you know. And then ultimately he made a selfless decision and resurrects Armin, because then he remembers Armin basically being excited about it, while for Erwin this was the main pain. For Armin it's an excitement, it's the bringer of happiness, and he remembers it and he realizes that it does not make sense to bring Erwin back again for this suffering. It's better for him to rest, and he says it, you are resurrected, he tells it to Armin, because I decided this to be Erwin's final resting place, so that Erwin needed to rest basically. And yeah, it's so strong, and it just revolves around, the main point of this season just revolves around Levi and his decision, if you ask me. That's why I feel like he's one of the mains. And then he has so many amazing badass scenes, fighting against Kenny and his people, fighting Beast Titan, not fighting, I would even call it fighting, like demolishing Beast Titan in 30 seconds or maybe even 20 seconds. That's what it was. I never doubted that it would take any more than that. It was such a cool fight. He's just such a beast, and he's truly genuinely kind and good at heart, you know, and that's just so wholesome and so wonderful. He's definitely one of my faves as well. I feel like at this point I have so many faves that I cannot even but yeah, amazing character. He had an amazing, unlike season 2, in season 2 he was not present that much, but season 3 he once again came back and just showed how amazing of the character he is basically. Now Erwin has been one of the also well written characters of the show. First 2 seasons was just a setup, and then season 3 just gave everything to Erwin and then gave him the perfect send off. Such a respect for his character. I think I discussed this in quite detail, so I'm not gonna go into many details, but I just want to say how much respect I have for him as a person, as a character. And I'm talking, it's funny, I'm talking about like these people are real, but in a way they are real within our consciousness, in terms of how we perceive these stories. So that's what makes these stories and these characters real, is our perception and what kind of an opinions we form around them. So in a way he's real. I'm sure there might even be some parallel reality where he exists, where Isayama's writing just materialized and created Attack on Titan world. Who knows? We don't know. Like, quantum physics are crazy. Okay, I'm going overboard, but yeah, like in a way, like that's why this is such a great show, because all of the characters feel like they are in real life, like they are real life characters, you know, making these harsh decisions and living in this harsh reality. Ultimately, what Erwin is ultimately a traumatized kid that never got over the fact that he thinks that he was the one who got his dad murdered, and now the validation he needs to basically tell himself that it was not all in vain, that at least what they thought and why his father had to die is the actual truth, turned out to be the truth. For him, he was willing to do anything, and he was having this imposter syndrome, which I discussed pretty perfectly. You can go ahead and see it. I think it's in episode 17 intro discussion, when I discuss it pretty in details. If you are interested and have not seen it, go back, watch it. But yeah, Erwin ultimately is this traumatized child that thinks that he is selfish, has this survivor skill, this imposter syndrome, which is imposter syndrome basically, for those of you who does not know what that is basically an idea that you are so incredibly manipulative that everything you do is a manipulation, and you feel like everything you do is manipulating people, and you feel guilty about it. So it's like an incredibly egotistical thing, actually. And he has this syndrome, and he of course failed. And I'm not criticizing him. Just one more time, I want to make this point. I'm not criticizing him at all whatsoever. I would probably be feeling the same way if I was in his shoes. I'm just analyzing it, you know, how it is. And basically he has this syndrome, he has survival's guilt, and it just becomes all apparent in the last moments of him. And his speech is like one of my favorite speeches ever given in anything ever, in real life or in fiction life, it does not matter. Like how he tells that life is not meaningless because when we die, yes, everything stops for us, but then it's our comrades who give the meaning to our lives, basically. And it's such a powerful freaking thing. He understood that by himself. That's why he actually made the decision not to disrespect everybody who has died for this cause, his comrades who are not with them anymore. It would be such a disrespect if we just ran and tried to get the truth and then died, probably, or just ran back to the wall. If he managed somehow to get there, he understands that, and of course he makes, and that just proves him wrong about what he thinks on himself. That just proves it, that he never was that, and he was always going to, in the end of the day, when push came to shove, he was always going to choose humanity, and he did. And yeah, and people like, and then it was like Flock was calling him a demon, and it's understandable from Flock's point of view why he sees Erwin as a demon, because he's making these harsh orders, he's making them to do all of these things, and that it gets people killed. So from someone who just been recruited and just found out the harsh and ugly reality of going outside, for his point of view, I totally see it. And then Levi is like, please forgive him if you can. He had no other choice but to become a demon or devil or whatever they said, because we pushed him into it, and that's so true. Like, so many people depended on it. It's so much pressure when you are a leader of that kind, that everything depends on your orders, on your decisions. Yeah, so in a way Levi is very correct in saying that we were the ones who needed him to become this demon or devil, because humanity needed it, and we needed it to survive, and at least to give humanity some fighting chance. So amazing car. I cannot think of better way of sending off this character that has been there since season 1, that has been amazing in every fucking scene he was ever shown. So it was the best, and so it storytelling wise made sense that he was not the one who got resurrected as well, because his storyline, just like Historia's, ended there when he finally decided to go against his selfish goals and choose humanity over himself. So yeah, while I wish both could have been resurrected, unfortunately that's not Attack on Titan world, and I will stand with Levi on resurrecting Armin instead of Erwin. I will stand with that decision. Yes, of course it's subjective, I have my own interest because Armin is my favorite character, but story wise and human wise as well, it was the correct decision if you ask me. Now let's go to Jean, Sasha and Connie. I will discuss all three of them. They didn't have the season that big of a season, none, but they still had their moments. All three of them, they come as a set for me now, especially. They are always shown together. Their development kinda intertwines with each other. I just love the small moments they got this season. I loved Jean's struggle to kill human beings. I loved all of the Sasha's funny scenes. It's just she makes my heart warm. She's one of my faves as well. I loved Connie's story of his mom being there continued, which makes me think maybe they are gonna be able to somehow get her back into a real form. That would be so nice. And then I just loved how Connie was trying to go after Reiner and that luggage titan and Zeke when they took Reiner. That was such a brave thing to do, stupid but brave. thanks God Hanji stopped it. So, and all of these moments they share those small moments towards each other. It was great. So they, I guess, the same way they were at the end of season 2. They are there. They are now, all of them are now one of the strongest members of Scouts. They could be considered as experienced soldiers in the Scouts, so they're gonna be massive force to deal with, if you ask me. Come the next season, they are gonna do a lot when it comes to fighting. Sasha is a sharpshooter, an amazing sharpshooter. Both Connie and Jean seem to be very good with ODM gear, so let's see how their characters are gonna be used. Hanji seems to be one of the most consistently written characters. While there are characters who get more screen time in one season and then less in another, Hanji has always felt since the day she was introduced as like she's has something to do with every season. And this season it was like she now is a commander. She was a big part of overthrowing the government. Obviously, she was a big part of this fight in this battle. She lost Moblit, Rip Moblit, such an underrated, not very valued character. I feel like story should have given him more screen time and more development, but whatever it was given to him, even with that, he was such a legend. I felt so bad when Hanji said that to Mikasa, that it was Moblit who actually saved her, which makes so much sense story-wise and character-wise. But yeah, Hanji is just the same old lovable, curious, crazy, scientist who just finds everything fascinating. And now she has this same pressure that Armin has, which is now they both in a way need to continue Erwin's legacy. So and they are both one of the brightest minds that we got, so I am pretty sure they will do just fine. Who else was in this? Reiner's character, same old if you ask me, not much of a development there. Same character that he was. We got to know a little bit of his struggles more, but not much, honestly, just the same. So I don't have much to say. I will just say that it killed me to see him being the main one who initiated Marco's death. That's something I'm still struggling to forgive, but I eventually will have to, just because of what I'm preaching about the show and how I want characters to be. It would be a hypocritical of me, and I know I'm a hypocrite, but I'm trying to at least be less of a hypocrite, so I will try to forgive him for what he did to my Marco, but not now I'm not. That's why I guess Bert's test was not as hard, like it was very hard still, but it would have been so much harder if I did not see exactly what happened to Marco and what they did to Marco. That brings me to Bert. Bert is one of the most underrated characters. He's not shown much, but when he's shown, it's so quality, man. I felt horrible for his character and for his death, but I mean there was no other choice there. But yeah, I felt very bad for Bert. His inner monologue was amazing about the cruel world, and now I understand it fully what he meant when he was like, I know you guys are not demons or devils, but this still needs to be done, obviously because of how Marley treats themselves and brainwashes them, I guess, and everything. So yeah, his monologue but he understood that he was being he understood all of that, right? But I guess he has a family back there. He cannot betray them even if they wanted, because they would go after his family. And yeah, I understand their position completely now that I know the full story, but still. And he is like a third character who mentioned how cruel the world is, which is it's this point an honor, I believe. Whoever gets this line is such an amazing character that it's just Mikasa, Armin, Erwin got it, and then Bert got it. So like amazing. Yeah, he had a nice send off in a way of how his character was nice, not that way, like it was not nice. In a character arc wise, it made sense basically. But it was so heartbreaking when he started screaming for them. Because he still considers them as a friend, so his first instinct was to shout out to his friends to help him out. Then he realized, of course, and then he started Annie, Rainer, I looked away. I did not watch that scene. I even was looking away as much as I could when I was editing that episode, not to see him get devoured. It was not a pleasant moment at all. And then Grisha, I spoke about Grisha, how amazing he is. He really started this whole story in a way, and yeah, it's just he has been amazing. Keith also got just one episode cameo, if you ask me. Amazing character, such a detailing behind his character writing that took just one episode to do. It's crazy. I love his character as well. I hope he will make a comeback and will play some kind of a role in an upcoming war arc. I don't know why I'm calling it a war arc. I feel like because of Naruto's influence, I guess, because the last final arc of Naruto was a war arc, and this is definitely gonna be the final season, final arc in a way, and definitely war is coming no matter what, so I'm calling it a war arc. But I hope Kiss will make his comeback. I feel like he will, because the author showed so much care in writing his character. It will be just so much waste if author did not integrate him back in the story of this final season, and final arc. Who else? Am I missing anybody? I mean, Zeke and these characters, I don't know much, so I'm talking about the characters we got to know very well, more or less. I feel like I've spoke about everybody, to be honest. Flock. I want to talk about the Flock. I understood everything what he meant from the start to finish in that funeral scene when he was like, but at least tell other recruits after this what's waiting out there, so they will actually make an informed decision. I understood that, but yeah, it's an interesting where this character is going. I don't wanna discuss much about this character. I don't have much, but I want to make a prediction of Flock being important in some way. I don't see him being very important, but I see him doing some things in the story that might be a little bit important moving forward, because this character came out of nowhere. This character apparently has been with us since we were cadets. He just, I guess, decided to join other regiments. I guess military policy could not. He was not top 10, obviously. We never saw him before season 3, but I mean, it's told that they were classmates all together. So since that moment, it feels like author gave him so much care. Like, he gave him so many monologues. He is the only one who survived from that suicidal charge. He's the one who brought Erwin back. He's the one who was hardly campaigning for Erwin, because he's a demon that humanity needs in his eyes. And then he was the one who was incredibly upset about the decision, and he made it not like he did not try. And he had this also crazy monologue about what life has been, and it has been so pointless. Why am I even dying? When poor Marlo was trying to Whip Marlo, by the way, an amazing character as well. Like, you see, even like minor characters, they are so well written with the little I get, that it makes me like, I cried. Who would have thought I would cry for Marlo when he would die? I cried for Marlo, and then I almost cried for Hitch when when Flock was telling him about Marco's final moments. I hope Hitch as well. Hitch keeps getting shown here and there, so maybe Hitch has something to do in final season as well. I hope she will make a comeback, because I truly care for these characters, as minor as they are. It's just so interesting. It's gonna be so interesting to see what they will do with this final arc, and what the author will do, how he will use these characters that he's been setting up. I feel I'm done. I'm now gonna talk about my favorite moments, my favorite episodes of season 3, top 5, and then my favorite characters so far in season 3, and then overall. So let's start with favorite episodes. I'm gonna start with number 1 is a bystander. Like nothing tops Bystander. I'm sorry, but I know, and there has been so many more amazing episodes, story-wise and plot twist-wise and just mind-blowing wise and sadness-wise and suffering-wise and etc, etc. But Bystander is just resonates with me so fucking much. The idea that thinking you are the special one and everybody else around you is not, being so egotistical, so wrong. And then the idea that thinking that you are not special at all, you are just a random Bobby or something, I don't know. Bobby, okay. Sometimes my mind amazes me. Why would I even come up with this term? Random Bobby, what that is, like I don't even know what that is. And that idea basically of thinking either one of it is both so egotistical. And that idea that Carla says, and it's so also wholesome, it's Aaron's mom who says this, that everybody is already special because we are already born into this world. And Aaron understood this so well when he says to Armin and Mikasa, I guess that's why everybody is different, because it's for the times like this when we need all to come together with our strengths and unite to make things better. And yes, like to be born is to be special already. I agree with that sentiment, I guess, so strongly. It's just I don't maybe have enough words in English in my vocabulary to just fully express why this episode so far, after experiencing so many amazing episodes, still stayed as my number one favorite episode of not just season 3 but of whatever I've seen so far in all 3 seasons. So yeah, Bystander is just so special. It's also Kiss character is so fascinating for me. I love this character, and it's just so fascinating that it was his character that was used to bring out this sentiment. It just goes to show how author really feels about all of his characters as well. He thinks that they are all special, and I agree, they are all special, and everybody has their own perspective, and it does not mean one perspective does not mean that other perspective is wrong. Like, you can, if you try and if you have enough empathy, you will understand, you will be able to see everybody's point, and author has done this so perfectly. I will say, I mean, this might sound a little bit egotistical, but I will say that if you are not incredibly critically thinking, deep thinking person, you might not need to watch this show, to be honest. And there's nothing wrong with not being very critical thinker and analytical thinker. There's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing wrong with not being able to see every side. Nothing. Everybody's like this show tells you their own individual, and they are special their own way, and they are needed to be that way for some reason, you know. We just, as our human minds cannot understand and fathom that. It's just much bigger degree that a human mind can take, you know. And it's just that my suggestion to people who just want to watch a superficial story just about titans and people fighting and our side and their side, I think that this show is not for people that think this way. I hope nobody will get upset when I say it. Just, and this episode showcases that the most, like, what more author can say to and express about the story, to tell you that if you watch this story, be incredibly open-minded and try to understand each point of view, because he makes effort to make sure that, yeah, he tells a story and we have a main characters, but he makes an effort and gives out a lot of hints to tell people that yes, this story may be about them for now, but it does not mean that other people's perspectives does not matter. And yeah, I feel like this episode showcased it the most, Bystander, and that's why it's my favorite. My second favorite is Hero, which is Armin's fake send-off episode. Such an amazing episode from start to finish. It has Levi demolishing, embarrassing Beast Titan. It has Armin or Levi and Beast Titan. I think it has. Or is it 18th episode? No, it's 17th. It's 17th episode for sure. Levi with Beast Titan. So it has Levi, with Beast Titan. It has then Flock surviving. It has Armin's whole plan, Reiner fighting. Like, it's an amazing episode. It's just wonderful. So that's my second favorite episode of this season. Then the third favorite is 16th episode, which is Erwin's speech, Erwin sacrificing himself. Amazing. I mean, I've always spoke about it so much that I cannot say much more about it. So that's my third favorite. And that speech is just so powerful, so fucking powerful. The fourth favorite episode is the 20th episode, where it got revealed, everything got revealed to us. It was mind-blowing, shocking. I don't think I need to explain why it is my fourth favorite. And the fifth favorite episode is episode 7, when Historia finally has this growth and goes against his dad, pushes him down. Such an iconic scene. And then just runs up to Eren and is like, I don't care, I will destroy everything, let humanity be wiped out. At this point, she just lets all of it out, and just becomes amazing from that point forward. So that's my fifth favorite episode. Now, moments. Okay, oh my god, this is gonna be harder. My favorite moment is absolutely Erin's speech. That's my first number one for sure. Like, that bit, nobody can ever give any speech anywhere, like I said, in real life or in fiction life, that will top this speech for me. I can say it. This is amazing speech. It fits so perfectly with Erwin. It fits so perfectly of what's true in my mind, really, of how after we die our lives matter. It's with the memories that we live with the people. So then they make our life that is no longer on this earth meaningful by kind of remembering us, like all of that stuff. So it's just, the speech is amazing. What follows after it, so that moment is just the top one. That's my number one. My number two is Levi demolishing and embarrassing Beast Titan, obviously. Like, come on. I don't even know, things that it needs much more explanation, so I will just move on. It's just Levi's, amazing. And then my third favorite is Historia remembering about Emil and what she told, and then just budding her dad to the ground, just then running for Eren. My fourth favorite scene is like when Kruger says you need to do this in order to save Mikasa and Armin or something like this, which I realized also that's what Grisha was the writing is so crazy, man. That's what Grisha was telling Eren, small Eren, right before he injected Eren with Titan serum and transformed him into Dumb Titan. It's the same sentence. Like, if you want to save Mikasa's life, Armin's life, it's kind of the same sentence that Kruger told him. Like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. So that's my fourth favorite moment. And my fifth favorite moment, oh my god, there's so many more left. It's hard to choose. I would say my fourth favorite moment is Dinah's revelation that Dinah is a Titan who ate Carla. That's just so shocking, man. It has to be in this list. It has to be. It just shocked me to my core, and that's after I did not believe anything else. After those 3 episodes, 16, 17 and 18, I did not believe anything else could shock me. I truly did not, and I was speechless. I was mind blown. So yeah, that's definitely fifth one there. I have to give it to it. There's so much more better. Okay, now my favorite characters for season 3. Erwin is number 1. Levi is number 2. Historia is number 3. Eren is number 4, and Armin is number 5. I will not explain. I already talked about this character so much. I'm so tired and I need to watch season 4 today, so I will not explain. I think it's pretty self-explanatory at this point why I feel this way. I mean, Erwin just had a massive season, and it's the season he died, and he was not even in a full season because he died in 18th episode. So there was good as 5 episodes without him, but yeah, there was some flashbacks between him and Niall and everything. But yeah, definitely. And Levi just has been such a trooper this season, and I just love him dearly. So yeah. Now my top 5 in total. Now this is gonna be harder. Armin definitely is number 1. From there it's already hard, and in my top 5 I'm not gonna have deceased characters. This top 5 in general is for the characters that are still alive going into season 4, so that makes it a little bit easier as well, which is good. So Armin for sure is number 1. Nobody can top Armin. Historia came close, by the way, so Historia has to be number 2. Levi is number 3. Eren is number 4. No, I cannot have Eren. I cannot have. Okay, let me start over. I mean, I cannot have Eren at number 4. I love him too much. Okay, Armin is number 1. Actually, Eren is number 2. Historia is number 3. Levi is number 4, and number 5 is so difficult, and it might be out of nowhere, or maybe not even out of nowhere, because this character has always been my number 5 for a long time now, and there's so many others I want to put there. I just cannot. So honorable mentions to Hanji, Jean, Connie, but Reiner as well, but Sasha, man, I love Sasha. I mean, she's just this light in this darkness that is Attack of Titan. Every freaking time she's on the screen and says something or does something, just lights my heart up. So it's she did not have a very strong season 3. She had a very good season 1, if you ask me. She had a normal season 2. She had that 1 episode, and then she kind of went to the background yet, but that 1 episode was amazing. And then season 3 has been just her and her moments, man. She's the funniest, and Levi. So I mean, I'm sorry, and why I'm sorry, why I'm saying I'm sorry. Sasha is definitely my number 5. I love that girl. And imagine if she had more screen time. She could have been number 1. She could have easily been my number 1. that's it, I guess, about my top 5. Now, what are my predictions for season 5? I wish there was season 5. Season 4, I mean, I don't even fucking know. I know the war is coming. I know some of us are dying, and I don't even want to go there and predict which one. But okay, I feel like Connie will meet his end. I had this feeling of Connie being that character who is more disposable than others, and then he has lasted much longer. I actually thought that maybe somewhere alongside season 2 he would be offed, and he was not, and then he was not offed in season 3 as well, and now I think stakes are as high as they have ever been. And I feel like if someone has to die, and I think like there's no way someone will not die from our dear group, I just feel like it's gonna be Connie. I can see Sasha dying, I can see Jean dying, I can see Hanji. So the characters that I don't see dying are Mikasa and Armin, to be honest. These two I feel like will not die. I feel like the others, including Eren, you heard me, including Eren, are in a danger to die. And Levi. Okay, no, I don't think Levi will die. I just don't think it's possible for Levi to die unless it's like a incredibly dire situation where he will just willingly sacrifice himself. I just don't, even then I feel like he makes it out alive. He's just is too good, you know. I just don't see him dying. I'm sorry. So Levi, Mikasa and Armin are 3 characters I feel like will not die. I feel like these 3 are the ones that will make it to the end of the story fully. The others are the fair game. I almost feel like Jean maybe, but I feel like Sasha, oh my god, it pains me to say, I don't know, like maybe as well. Connie for sure, I feel like, and it's gonna kill me. And Hanji, I don't know, commanders, yeah, I don't know about Hanji. And now that mobility is gone, now Levi maybe can take that role. We saw kind of at the end he was trying to take the mobility role when Hanji is in the ocean. She sees something, oh, what's that, and directly goes for it, and Levi is like, that's probably poisonous, so don't touch it because he will die or something like this, so nonchalant. And of course Hanji just goes for it. So maybe Levi can be our new mobility in a way, just keep Hanji alive. But I don't know, I feel like maybe Hanji won't make it as well. It would be so devastating, man. I mean, Hanji is not in my top 5, but I feel like she is in a way. Like I love her dearly. I love her a lot. Like other characters who did not make my top 5, I feel guilty now. I feel guilty, but I love them all. I just hope that if they are gonna die, their send-offs will be meaningful. It will mean a lot. That's what I hope. Because at this point it would be very naive of me to think that, oh no, none of them will die and I will live in a happy fairyland where I don't have to mourn any of them being dead. That's it, I guess. That's it. I think I've done most of what I wanted to do. I've been thinking 1 more hour, so it's like almost 1 hour, almost 2 hours this video is going to be, I think. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. If you lived through the whole video, good job for your dedication, and thank you that you listened to me ramble on. And yeah, just comment down below. I'm truly genuinely interested in what do you think about what I think, and also what you thought at this point in the story, if you remember. Not any spoilers, please don't spoil me. Like, it would be I've lived through not being spoiled by anything so far, so let's not spoil me now. But yeah, up until season 3, just say anything you want, and how you felt maybe about a certain character, certain moment, certain decision in the storytelling, or how do you feel like about what I discussed, if you have any ideas or opinions. I love reading your comments. They are not much, so it's easy to read all of them, and yeah, it's just fascinating to understand how other people think or feel about the show and about some of the characters or what show did. So yeah, let's discuss it. With that being said, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you have not already, and yeah, wish you a nice rest of the day.